Hey challengers, welcome to week 2, day 5. Today we're going to be talking about simplifying your life. And I will honestly say that there's been times when my life was so crazy and out of control, I didn't know what to do. And I want to also say that if you're willing to take some of these little practices and work on them and integrate them into your life, eventually you can organize your life around what matters most, and you can have a really wonderful balance. And we talked about the importance of reducing stress on your structure, the integrity of your structure. We talked about eliminating stress in your nutrition, toxins in your nutrition. Today it's really about your mind, is how to clear that mind. So let's dive right in. Today we're talking about simplifying and decluttering your life. And this is kind of how I felt. You know, I'd say yes to too many things, and I was all over the place trying to juggle too many balls. And what do? You drop balls when you try to juggle too many things. So we're going to talk about simplifying, because multitasking is a formula for disaster. It's not a way to stay present. It's not a way to be effective. If you want to actually be effective, you actually need to simplify, declutter, and prioritize. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And we always like the trilogy, 3 things. If you can focus down on 3 things, then usually the mind can handle up to 5 to 7 things maximum in a day. So as far as at a time, 1 thing at a time is optimal. 1 thing at a time. So that's being present. And there's a great quote, it's mind like water. You want your mind to be still like water, because if there's all these things going on, they all crisscross, they jumble, and you use a lot of mental energy that you don't need. Getting into flow is all about being present and being engaged with what you're doing, not distracted with other things. So part of that practice is, if you practice something, you get really good at it over and over and over again, then when it comes time to perform, you can let go and just get into flow because you've done it over and over again. The practice is learning how to be present, learning how to stay focused. So less is more. Slow is fast. Remember the 80-20 rule. Really only 20% of your activities produce 80% of your results. So we're going to try to get this mind like water. We're going to try to get simple. We're going to try to get clear. We're going to talk about a couple areas to do that. First area is self-mastery. When we talk about self-mastery, it's like that mental game you play with yourself. So one area that's important is to create space, mental space for yourself, so you don't have too many things backed up and then you're urgent and rushed and feeling anxious. So one thing to look at is, what's that mental candy? What's that high calorie, no nutrient? What's the stuff that's distracting you, the drama, the addictions, the silly things that get in your way? And once you identify what those are, I want you to try to replace them with something healthy and positive. You know, to get the mind quiet, one of the best ways to do that is meditation. So on this app, we have a 7-day meditation challenge. Maybe you could try that. You maybe have heard me tell the story about focusing on what's wrong. When Whitney was getting started in her business, she came home and she was having a tough week, and she was like, oh man, this is wrong and that is wrong. And she's complaining about this, complaining about that. And I pulled out a piece of paper and I drew a big black dot on the paper. And I said, would you like some help with this? She goes, what are you doing? I said, yeah. So I said, well, you know, right now you're focusing on the black dot. The black dot is the problem. But what else is on this paper? And there's a whole bunch of white space. And I said, the white space represents the grateful things, the opportunities, the blessings in life. And by just getting yourself to remember, what are your blessings? There's 3 questions I recommend that you have when you find yourself getting focused on what's wrong, focus on the black dot. Number 1, what do I want? Number 2, what am I grateful for? And number 3, what's my next step? And if you can get yourself to focus on gratitude and what you want instead of what you don't want, that's part of self-mastery. It's cleaning out the clutter. Matter of fact, the word clutter comes from a British word, clotter, like to clot, like blood clots. And when you get stuff clutter, it stops the flow. It's like a blood clot that stops the flow. So you really need to kind of consciously eliminate these things that are cluttering your mind and shifting your focus from what you don't want to back to what you do want, that structural tension of what do I want. And then the other thing I want to talk about is creating space for your calendar. And creating space in your calendar is really important. If you back yourself up back to back to back to back, that urgency factor kicks in. So give yourself like time to get ready for an event, the actual event, and a little bit of time to review the event. That's true for not only your whole day, like getting your day set up, do your day, and then review your day. Same with the month. Get set up, do your map, do your month, review your month. There's always that 3-part process. And I also think of the day as a routine. You know, there's the morning routine. I get my day going, I keep my space during the day, and then I have my evening routine. I want to talk a little bit about relationship clutter, relationship. And Jim Rohn, who's one of my very first mentors, he talked about the influence of people. Never underestimate the influence of others. You must constantly ask these questions. Who am I around? What are they doing to me? What have they got me reading? What have they got me saying? Where have they got me going? What do they have me thinking? And most importantly, who do they have me becoming? Then ask yourself the big question, is that okay? Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Meaning that who you associate, he has 3 rules of association. And this is now the next step, which is relationship mastery. Relationship mastery, he says there's 3 things, there are 3 types of association. The more who you associate, you become like. So he said there's limited association, like there's people you can be around at a certain amount of time and it's okay, but after that amount of time, it becomes toxic. Then there's people that you want to be around more, that they enhance you, they grow you, they make you better. So that's increased association. And then decreased association, where we have to cut back and say, you know what, I need to really limit it, almost block off my association to these people. I call them emotional vampires or energy vampires. There's those people in your life that they constantly drain your energy, and you got to be aware of that. And this is also true. There was a study, and you'll watch this video in a second. There was a study done by the Journal of American Medical Association in 2002 that found that who you hang around with, you become like physically, whether obese or healthy, is about your social network, your social connections. So I want you to watch that. And then we're going to kind of ask you to think about putting in some boundaries. What are those healthy boundaries? And learn how to say no elegantly, so that when people who are trying to bring you down, or they have a different goal or they want to talk about drama, you need to learn how to elegantly move yourself out of that conversation and kind of protect your mental bandwidth, okay? So the call to action today is to, number 1, identify what is that mental candy. What's that toxic, unhealthy mind stuff that you're allowing in your brain? And also identify any toxic relationships, at least one in each category. One that's a mental candy. For me, it's like politics. I got to watch out that I don't get sucked into the negativity of politics. And the other thing is watch out for those toxic relationships, those people that bring you down, and they're those energy vampires. Number 2, watch the video below, the 4-minute video that talks about the impact of our social network. It's powerful, only 4 minutes long. And number 3, I want you to practice this week the rule of Jim Rohn. And that's, who can I increase my association with that is empowering me? Who can I limit my association with that is, I want to be with them, but there's a certain amount of time that I can do, and then it becomes unhealthy. And then who can I decrease or eliminate association with? And again, these are not easy things to do, but they are worth it. So I wish you the best on clearing your mental clutter, getting your mind clear so that you can be in flow. And that's the next topic, is getting into flow state. So we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.